Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing okay. I know that we are all self-isolating and doing the best that we can through the situation. And obviously we all want to go back to work, we all want to see our clients, and I know you want to see us. But we have the opportunity at the moment with the digital technology that we have to do some videos. And one of the things that I wanted to really sort of help people with is obviously brows, because that's my thing. But also the brand that I wanted to launch in around May time, which may now be a little bit longer, was my Rebrow. And it really is something that we can all do together while we are self-isolating, albeit we won't be going through the actual Rebrow stage. I have some really good at-home tips and remedies for you to grow your eyebrows during this time. So put those tweezers down now and join me in the Rebrow challenge. One of the things that a lot of clients ask me is about my own brows, because I had my brows tattooed originally and then microbladed, starting at about 5 years ago. And not a lot of people know, because everyone always says, oh, I like your eyebrows, I like your shape, I like your colour. But actually I'm about 80% tattoo or microblading now, which is huge. I really don't have very much hair naturally. I overplucked mine back in the 90s, as many of us did. My mother told me not to, and I completely ignored her, and I tweezed away all my eyebrows, and then they just never ever grew back again. I think now it's been a running joke to clients that I tweeze my eyebrows once a year because they grow back that infrequent. So that's really where I had the idea about Rebrow. It's been coming for a long time, and obviously through all my 20 years of skin knowledge and dermatology level, and all the work that I've done over the last decade plus, really has led me to become my sort of brow artistry and microblading, but also has led me down this brow path of regenerating hair growth. Because as much as microblading is my thing and I love it dearly and I hope it never stops, I also really want to help people grow out their natural eyebrow hairs, because I was one of them, and it's taken years and years and years for me to be able to really analyze and understand hair growth, especially in the brow sector or section. Because if we think about it, back to the 90s, when we actually first started tweezing our eyebrows, I think I was about 15, we didn't do it kindly to ourselves. I would look in the mirror and I would yank them all out and really cause myself quite a lot of pain. But I just wanted them gone at the time. And, you know, I would just whack them out like this. And when I sort of looked in the mirror, I then realised that one didn't really look like the other. So I'd go at the other one until really I had nothing left. And what we've really sort of analysed over the years is, with the eyelid being the thinnest part of skin on the whole body, your eyebrow is really just above that. So it's such thin and delicate skin, it only takes 2 or 3 times to yank the hair out of the follicle to traumatise it. And what happens to a traumatized follicle is that it closes. It doesn't mean necessarily that it's died, but it will close and lay dormant until it's stimulated enough to reopen. Now, there's 2 types. The first is that it can lay completely dormant. That means that the follicle is completely closed and no hair can then grow back up through it. The second part is if you half traumatize the follicle, and the follicle then closes halfway through and you notice some regrowth, but the regrowth of the hair will grow out a completely different direction to what it used to grow as. I don't know if you've ever experienced that yourself. If you're nodding, we are all there. So sometimes you'll have like a random hair, but it would just go outwards rather than in the flow of the natural direction. So there's 2 types really of the trauma that the follicle experiences. One thing that I've learned over the years of working with brows is that stimulation is really the key to reopen the follicles. As long as they're not completely dead and that they are just laying dormant, there's lots of different ways that we can stimulate through needling, through product, and through blood flow, so that it really helps to create that hair strand back through the follicle. So I'm going to show you my own eyebrows just to really prove that I am about 70–80% tattoo or microblading. And just beware that my microblading hasn't been done for a couple of years because there's never enough time to have your own brows done. So mine have faded a lot, but you can really see where my natural hairs sit, so that when we all do this together and we grow our eyebrows out through self-isolation, when we come to, let's say, a month, let's give ourselves a month, we can see what new hairs have grown through. I really had this idea because I've been doing it now for just a week and I've already seen the random 1 or 2 hairs come through, but in the fronts, which I always used to struggle with, they're the sections that never ever grow normal real hair. So I'm really excited for this, and for all of you as well to join me and grow our brows back together. So I'm gonna flip the camera around so I can show you really up close all of my hairs. So if we take my right eyebrow to start with, obviously I flip the camera around so it looks like my left, but it's actually my right. I'm going to sort of start by just popping my hairs up that I do have so that you can see. Now, these have been laminated, so they will fall in exactly the position that I want them to because they're nice and soft at the moment. But because I'm really up close, if I just zoom out a tiny bit, you can see that the first part of my brow here is completely microbladed. Naturally, the in thing back in the 90s was, or the 80s even, the 70s and the 80s I think now, everyone's come through, is this part here. So my brow really didn't start in the right place. If I show you here, they should really start around the tear duct area, but mine start here. So this is where my own hairs start. So you can imagine how atrocious they were before they were microbladed. So if I zoom in again, you can really see no hair in that front section. I think that might just be one little hair there maybe, but all of this is fake. And you can really then see I've got these really small strands here. And then I've got like the smallest of strands coming up and then a few little ones down here. I don't really have very much hair across the top. That's all fake as well. Sorry, my colour's really faded from up close. And I literally have like 5 hairs on my tail. So they are actually really bad underneath all of the microblading, all hail microblading. But if I can just grow as much as I can naturally, I can then get that lovely fluffy brow. For me, it's my fronts, because if I could just fluff them all up like this, if I just had this hair in the front, then it would look so much better. So yes, that's my right. So then if we move on to my left eyebrow, now this one actually has even less hair. So what you'll be able to see, if I just pull up the little bits of hair here, just so you can see, that is literally all I have. So we're in exactly the same position. Let me just come across a little bit here. In terms of this section here, not very much natural hair at all. It's all microblading. Again, starting in the tear duct area. Mine were just a little bit further back. This one, however, was like way over. They weren't sisters at all. They were like long distance cousins. But yeah, you can see a little bit of hair coming up through here as well. My hair's actually really thin. On my head, I have lots of hair, which makes it look much thicker. But actually my brows, my hairs are really thin. So that also just makes them really delicate and easily to break. So I will talk about that later on if you are the same. You can see all down here, that's all fake microblading. Down here, again, the colours just fading a little bit, so they do need redoing, but I didn't want to do anything until I went through this sort of challenge with everyone. And then you can see all my sort of hairs coming up here, but I really don't have anything on the tail on that side. I have like 3, maybe 2 hairs on that tail. So really, again, nothing at all. So even when you see me from afar or from a distance, it looks like I've got lots of hair, but actually it's all fake. A couple of things that I think you will need in this process. One of them would be a mascara wand. Now, some of us are very lucky that we have these in our home. If you have false eyelashes, your artist might have given you one of these, or myself, or you just have them anyway. If you don't have one though, don't panic. If you have an old mascara tube that might be running low, all you need to do is just take out the wand. I was just looking around to see if I have one somewhere, and just give a little bit of a wash, because obviously you don't want to put mascara through your brows. So wash it over, leave it to dry overnight, and then just check it on some paper so that you know whether the mascara is still in the wand or not. And yes, you want one of these. Ideally, not just to put on the products that I'm going to go through with you, but also you can sort of lift up your hairs every sort of couple of days to see what new hairs are sprouting through. I literally, as I said before, had like a couple come up here, which I've never had before, and it's only because I'm lifting them all up to see where all my new hairs are sprouting that I can actually see how well they're doing through this process. So that is number one. The other thing that you can still get if you don't have one, you can buy these from places like Amazon. I know that they're still selling. Again, it's not essential, but if they are still delivering, you can pick up yourself one of these. Now, this is a micro needler. But the one that I have, and you can buy these in places like Amazon or any sort of distribution there for home use, but these are the ones that I will have in your pack for rebrow, because it's mini and it's actually an eyebrow one specifically designed for the eye area. So you don't have the big ones. I do have a bigger one here. So this is the one that you would buy for your face, for instance, but this is the one that we're going to be using for the eyebrows. So as I say, this comes in the pack for the rebrow, but if you have one of these at home, you can still use this, or you can see if you can find one of these online. But they are just really, really helpful, because I was trying to put the wrong lid on. They're really, really helpful because it starts off the stimulation process. So to use the roller, we're literally just going to go back and forth over the eyebrow section. Make sure you get that front part if you don't have any hair like me. And again, it just really is stimulating the skin and the hair follicles, because we're trying to awaken them back up. Okay, nice and gently. You don't want to put any pressure on it at all, because we are going over hair. So you just literally want to just taut the skin a little bit, and then you're just going to roll it across. So you don't want any pressure on, you're just rolling it across like so. If you are unable to get one of these, don't worry, because there's lots of other things that you can do for the stimulation purpose of this self-isolating brow regrowth. So if you don't have one of these, do not worry. All you need is your fingers. So you can do exercises, if you like, to stimulate the brows. So if you get your thumb and your index finger, and you literally just lift your brows up a little bit, and you pinch like that. And that will just start getting the blood flow. All you want to do really at the moment is just get that blood flowing. So you just pinch together. You can do one brow at a time, so you can hold taut like you would when you were doing the rolling, and you can just pinch your eyebrows like that. You might want to close your eyes and just get that stimulation. You can start seeing some erythema coming up, which is just that little bit of redness there. That's a good thing, because that means that it's all stimulating. So one of the things that you should all definitely have at home that you can use for the eyebrows during this self-isolation is olive oil. Now, we all use this for cooking, I hope. Now, olive oil, what you might not know is that it contains amazing antioxidants. So you can use this on the eyebrows to help strengthen the hairs and to stimulate the blood flow again to the follicles. That's really what we want to do here. We want to just start to strengthen and to stimulate during this self-isolation process, to just really start getting the brows ready to then grow through. So olive oil should be something that you can find in your cupboards, and this is what the mascara wand is really good for. Now, don't sort of go in and dip it into your olive oil, obviously, but you can just pop it into a little glass, or if you've got an empty mascara tube, or anything that you can find. All you need to do is just a little bit. One of the other things that you might have in your home, which I don't currently have actually, hence why it's not quite here, but if you don't use olive oil to cook with, you might use coconut oil. Now, coconut oil has essential fatty acids, which is also fantastic for hair growth. Again, with the essential fatty acids, it will help nourish and strengthen the skin follicles. The hair follicles, and again, aid in the growth of hair. So if you don't have the olive oil, but you find coconut oil, you can do exactly the same thing. Use your mascara wand, if you have one, to go through the hairs, but also use your little finger or a cotton bud, make sure you wash your hands first, to then apply directly onto the skin. And again, I would do that every single night. Seeing as we're self-isolating, I'm going to say as well that we do it twice a day. Now, one of the things that I always do, well, I say I always do, I've done it for a week now, because I'm doing the trial myself with you, is to condition the eyebrows. Now, I always use L'Oreal. I use their thickening shampoo and conditioner because it makes my hair really, really nice and thick. Sorry, it's not brushed. But it also really helps the eyebrows. And it sounds really silly, but condition your hair, or your eyebrow hair, in the shower could really benefit the condition of the actual hair. So all you would do is just apply a little bit of the conditioner while you're in the shower. You know, if you've got your hair cream on or your body cream on or anything in the shower, and literally you just want to take a little bit, and you just want to then apply the conditioner onto the eyebrows like so, and apply all on through the same direction of the hair. And then when you're showering and you're washing your hair or conditioning your hair, you leave the conditioner on 2 minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and then you clean it off. So I hope that has been beneficial for the first video. There's lots of different techniques and things that I want to go through with you, but I don't want to do it all on the first video. So let's start off doing those bits. Either use your derma roller if you have one, but if you don't, use your fingers to stimulate the blood flow, and then use any of those products that you can find around your house. Use your finger, cotton bud, or a mascara wand if you have one. And yeah, let's get this week. Try and do it twice a day if you can. Don't forget to use conditioner when you're in the shower on the eyebrow area, and we can start the rebrow challenge. Best of luck.